Hello everybody, this is Mr. Storm and we're actually going to start making applications that have a graphical user interface that allow our user to actually click buttons and type stuff on something that looks a little better than just the console screen. So the first project we're going to work on is called Magic 8 Ball. We're going to make one of those Magic 8 Ball toys where you grab it and you shake it up and then you look at it and you ask a question and you look at the viewer window and it tells you, your answer, and it's supposed to tell your future or whatever. We're going to make one of those. Under the Magic 8 Ball assignment on Google Classroom, I've given you this 8ballimages.zip. That's a compressed archive that inside has 15 different pictures, and those pictures are they look like this. Let's go back to desktop and let's find the 8-ball images. Pictures basically look like this. They all look the same, but they have a different message on them. Try again, unlikely, right? And we're going to randomly pull one of those whenever the user clicks a button, and we're going to display that on the screen. So right now, download the 8ballimages.zip and extract those files onto your computer because we're going to need those when we build the application. All right, so I'm moving over to Visual Studio, and here I want to open up a brand new program. I want to create a new project, and instead of console app like we've been using before, I want to create a Windows form app, right? Because the form is going to allow us to create a user interface, which is exactly what we want. I'm going to name it Magic 8. I'm going to click OK. Alrighty, so now this looks different than what we've had before. It used to be that our code would actually pull up here in this window when we first open a new application. Now we have this thing. This is our window designer, right? This actually allows us to create the graphical user interface. This allows us to create the interface for what our application is going to look like, right? We can resize it. We can make it as big or as small as we want. We can go over here to the properties. Oh, nope. Properties here, and we can change things about it. We can make it 50% opacity so that it's a little bit see-through, and that way whenever it's hovering over things it can be see-through. I'm going to make it 100%. There's a lot of stuff that we can change about this just by going through here and making changes to the to these properties here. Yeah, all that looks good. We don't need anything else there. What we do need though is we need a picture window to put a picture here. We need a text box so that our user can enter some text. They can type in their question, and then we need a button that just says go. Now in order to add those, we actually need to make some changes. Over here we have a Solution Explorer and Team Explorer, but we actually need our toolbox here. So if you don't see the toolbox tab, you want to go over to, was it Project, View? You want to go to View and select Toolbox, and it's going to pop your toolbox in there, right? It might pop it out over here somewhere undocked. You can just drag it over and drop it there. So now in our toolbox, we can actually find components that we want to drag and drop onto our form. So first thing I want is a picture box. So I'm going to grab that, drag it over, and I'm going to size it to make it as big as I want it to be. I'll make it, make it real big. I want to take up most of the screen. That looks good. Okay, and then we want a text box. So I'm going to drag that over, and we're going to make the text box stretch. Trying to make it look as even as possible, make it look nice. Okay, I'm actually going to bring it down just a little bit. And then we want a button. Button we'll just put right there. And I'll try to get it in the center as much as I can. Looks good. So that's going to be the interface for our program, right? We could play around with this and try to make it look as nice as we want, but I mean this is pretty okay. This is pretty fine. That is all we really need. Okay. Next, I want to import my pictures. So if I select this picture box here, right, I have this little triangle. If I click that little triangle, it'll let me do tasks for my picture box. So I want to choose image, and it'll bring up this dialog box. Here, I want a project resource file. So I'm going to click import, and I want to go to my desktop where I saved my Magic 8-Ball images, and I'm going to actually select all of them. I want all of them to be selected, and I'm going to click open, and it's going to open all of these files in here, right? So I'm going to make sure they're all in there, and I'm just going to click OK, and it's going to put my Magic 8-Ball picture in there. I'm going to shrink that down. Now, because I'm making mine really, really big, my picture was smaller than the picture box area that I gave it. So I'm just shrinking it down so that it looks better. Now, if we wanted to make it smaller than the actual picture, then the picture would still display at its native resolution. The way we could fix that is we would go down here to the properties once we have, the picture box selected, and we would go down to, where is it? Maybe it's up here. Image, initial image location, size mode, right here. Size mode, instead of normal, we could just change that to stretch image, and it would actually make it fit the picture box, right? So I'm going to stretch image, and I'm actually just going to make it. Yeah, that looks about good. All right. And just keep moving stuff around. I'm actually going to make my button bigger too. Make it look nice and cool. Okay. All right. So there we go. Make it a little bit smaller. Sorry, I get picky about this kind of stuff. All right. So now I have my 8-ball image there. I have my text box. I have my button. So the next thing I want to do is I want to actually go into the code. So one of the cool things that we can do, so far we already have our user interface built, and we haven't actually typed any code whatsoever, right? Now, we have to think about what we want our game to actually do. So we want our user to be able to type something in here, and it doesn't matter what they type actually, because all of our functionality is going to be handled once we click the button. So once they hit the button, we want to pull up a random 8-ball picture, and then that will, we don't need to care about what they typed because it's going to be completely random anyway, just like the toy. So what we want to do is double click on the button, and it will pull up our code. And if you look, what it's done is it's created a form1 method, right? And that form1 method is calling another method called initializeComponent. We don't have to worry about that for this one. We'll talk about that later. But it's also created a button click event handler. What event handlers are is they're basically sections of code. They're methods that wait until something happens. Then when something happens, the method runs, right? So this event handler is just waiting for button 1 to be clicked. And if we go back to our form, we can see that this is button 1. So once button 1 is clicked, we're going to do something, right? And what we want to do is we want to create a random. And we've done that before. So I'm going to create random rnd equals random new random. Okay. And then I want to do int num equals rnd.next, and my range is going to be from 1 to 15 because our pictures are numbered 1 through 15. So it's going to pick a random number from 1 to 15. Okay. And then what I want to do is I want to create a switch that will find, or that will pull up the proper picture depending on what random number was created. So I'm going to create a switch. I'm going to base it off of the num variable, and case 1 will be, nope, picture box 1, because we want to access picture box 1 right here. This, if we look at the name here, is picture box 1, right? We can change names of everything here. We can change the size, the all kinds of stuff. We can change everything about these things in the properties menu. But picture box 1. Okay. So picture box 1 dot image. So what image is going to be in picture box 1? That's going to be equal to properties dot resources dot underscore 1. Now here's the reason why. Let's go over to our Solution Explorer. If we go to Properties, Resources, okay, inside the Resources folder, we have 15 different pictures, right? Underscore 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way through 15. These are our picture files that we have. So we want to access properties.resources._1. That's the picture that we want to display, right? And then, of course, because it is a switch, we want to have a break statement. Now, at this point, you're basically done programming the code. All you have to do is go through and create 15 of these and just change the case and the file name, right? So there's 2 of them. So I'm going to do 3. I'm only going to do 4 of them just because I don't need to create all 15 just for the example. But you guys get the point. You would have 15 different cases here. And guess what? We don't even need a default for this because it's a random variable, and we're only going from 1 to 15. So there's absolutely no way that it will ever have anything outside of the range. So we don't even need a default. Once you're done putting all the cases together, you are done with your program. This picture, or this 8-ball program, is finished. So let's run it and see if it actually works. I'm going to click Start, and my form pops up. Okay, good. Is Mr. Storm going to live forever? Right? Now again, it doesn't matter what we type in here. We just want to give them the illusion that they're asking a question. We're going to click the button. No. Oh no. And we can keep clicking it, and it will do, you know, different things every time. Definitely. Right? I only have 4, so it's not going to randomize that much. But you see what I mean? With the 15 in there, it'll actually make it a lot better. Let's do another. Let's do the other 4. Just for funsies. But at this point, you're basically done with your application. Once you have all 15 cases, you know, play around with it, make sure that it actually works. I am going to show you how to turn in these applications because we need to make sure that you guys remember how to do that. Again, it's really not that different than what we've done before. Okay. I'm going to run this again, though, and see if we get some variations. Is Mr. Storm the most incredible person alive? And we're going to hit the button. Definitely. Maybe. Never going to happen. Definitely. Absolutely. So we have some variation there. No, no, never going to happen. So that's exactly what we want, right? Now, once you get all 15 in there, you'll have a lot more random. But when you're done, obviously you want to save all of your stuff. And then you want to navigate to where the program file, or to where the project file is. So for me, I actually put stuff in my storage and my game design and my Visual Studio projects folder, and I have my Magic 8-Ball game, right? So just like before, we have our SLN file, which you don't want to just send me the SLN. We have the bin, the debug, and then we have the magic8.exe. That's in there. I need that. But I also need the properties and the resources, okay, because it's going to grab all the pictures, all the resources are in there. I need those, okay. So again, the best bet is just to go to the main root folder here and to right click, send to compressed zipped folder, right? And then turn in that zipped folder and you are good to go. All right. Thanks for paying attention. Please let me know if you have any questions. Play with this, have fun, enjoy, because it gets way cooler from here on out. All right. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.